You can get rich just by simply farting like they did. Hi, my name is Mortimer, and this is a public service announcement about flatulence, the greatest performer of which was Roland the Farter. Yes, that is his real name. He lived in the back then it was England. He served as a jester of King Henry II, which is a type of sergeanty. If you don't know what it is, it's basically any type of service that is not knighting. So you can basically serve your country and countrymen by either dying and protecting them, or farting. But to simply call what he did as farting doesn't do it enough justice, because every Christmas he performed what is called unum saltum et cifratum et unum bumbulum. So you have already learned something today, so you can sound smart at the next family gathering when you are ripping out And for his service he actually got the Hemingstone Manor, which is basically a smaller castle. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, which I came across yesterday at 11:30, well past my bedtime. And instead of sleeping, I just went down a rabbit hole. So now with insomnia, we are suffering together. Several hundred years later, on the other side of the English Channel, there was this French guy called Le Pétoman. I probably pronouncing it wrong, but I don't really care because I have no respect for the French language. To be clear, I have a lot of respect for the French people because they have contributed a lot to our society, as you can probably see. But if a language uses 4 characters to describe a single sound, well, let's just say that it has a lot of improvement potential. As you know, Batman and Superman and every other Marvel character has an origin story, and this French guy is no different. Because one time he was swimming on the sea and he put his head under the water and held his breath, whereupon he felt icy cold penetrating his rear. He ran ashore in fright and was amazed to sense water powering from his anus. This is actually a real sentence on Wikipedia and probably my favorite one so far. He refined his skills in the army, where he sucked up water from a pan and shoot it several yards. For those of us who live in a civilized country and have access to the original and real Budweiser, instead of this, I don't know what this is, 1 yard is approximately 0.9 meters. I don't understand why they call it Budweiser, it's not even brewed in Budweiser. Also, what the fuck is a light beer? Are you guys watering it down? Also, back to the French guy, he realized that he can also suck up air and not just water, and release it in such a way that it would mimic musical instruments. A method that he frequently used to entertain his guests or customers in a bakery that he was working in. In a bakery. Later he went professional and moved to Paris, which, as I understand, is basically the Hollywood of France, and he mimicked thunderstorms and cannon shots. And I would like to imagine that there was one time when, in a military parade, instead of firing a real cannon, he just farted. He performed in front of famous guests like Prince Edward, Prince of Wales, who is the guy who is in love with his own mother, like not the Greek one, but the Sigmund Freud. He also performed in front of King Leopold II of Belgium. You know, the guy that everyone in the Congo likes. They don't. Later he retired and made a biscuit factory or something uninteresting, but they actually made some musicals and films out of his life, and they later tried to adapt it into theater. But it was cancelled by the director of the theater because he thought that the audience is too sophisticated for this kind of humor. Which is the ultimate example of snobbery, like they are better than Prince Edward or King Leopold or... Well, they are actually better than King Leopold II. It's not really a high bar you have to jump. You know, you just have to refrain from turning people into pirates. Hey, Gassen. As you can probably guess, Gassen means gas in Japanese. Probably. I'm not a Japan scientist, although I'm an enjoyer of fine arts like this piece. This scroll is from the Edo period, I don't know what that is, but this is basically a precursor to modern anime and hentai. It depicts a fart fight, and I really don't understand why I haven't seen this before on the internet, because this is basically just a goldmine for memes. And there are actually several of these in museums in Japan, which is just another reason to visit it, you know, apart from whiskey breweries and cat girls. We don't know who painted most of them, but there is one artist called Toba Seju, who also painted a scroll depicting a cock measuring contest. I don't know what it is about, I mean I can guess what it is about, but I can't seem to find it anywhere on the internet. If you know someone or know someone who knows someone, well, this needs to be on the internet. I mean, this is the common heritage of humanity. And probably the reason why the aliens don't visit us. And the rich tradition of Bumbulum is kept alive today in Japan by various game shows like this one. which comes pre-pixelated because it was uploaded to YouTube around 14 years ago. And this is the only example I can show you on YouTube because the other ones are, well, I just love Japan. They also exported this refined form of entertainment to England, which today is just a hollow shell of its former self, and its inhabitants don't really appreciate culture. They also can't speak English, despite being called, English. And this magnificent performance is from Britain's Got Talent, and this highly sophisticated performance is lost on the judges. Just like throwing pearls to the pigs, they can't really appreciate nice things. So you should definitely check out Ichikawa-san's incredible performance on this ungrateful, self-proclaimed talent show that has actually denigrated him to a wind musician. He is not a wind musician, he is a flatulist. And I don't even know what to say to this kind of disrespect. Just moments before they witnessed true greatness on his birthday. You know what is coming next, but it didn't happen. And it all seemed lost. You can actually feel the emotion on Ichikawa-san's face. The desperation, the doubt, the lingering stress of failure. I swear to God, these kind of people should just be deported to a prison island on the other side of the earth. When everything seemed lost, the support of people with an actual taste in art prevailed, and Ichikawa-san succeeded. In an emotional moment, in the middle of a journey of self-growth and redemption, people realizing old mistakes and atoning for them by supporting his. But even he, with all due respect, is no match for Mr. Metin. Yes, there is a guy called Mr. Metin, but before we get into that, there are some other honorable mentions whom this article describes as a reality star and a TikTok artist. Sold her jars for 10,000 a jar for a total of 200,000, which means that there are 200 people who bought a fart in a jar from the self-described fartpreneur. There is this hypothesis that we are actually living in a simulation made by a hyper-intelligent being or an alien race, and I would like to present my own hypothesis regarding this. We are actually living in an art project, but instead of a painting, there is this edgy alien in an art college making a simulation where people who are teachers have a second job or need to donate blood or do OnlyFans to survive. If you are a farmer or just generally do manual labor, you can barely make ends meet. And on the other hand, we have people who become rich just by selling farts in a jar. This is actually more money than the average price of a Central European house, like a really nice and big house. But on the more cheerful side, we have things like this. And this is what is considered vanilla. Let's just say that another flood is coming, so you should probably stock up on floaties and befriend your local shipwright. Or just pray to God. And by God I mean the only real God, Mashish Kapeu. Mashish Kapeu, a god of the Innu people whose superior culture has been replaced by the Canadians. So instead of a farting god, now we have maple syrup and whatever the fuck this is. According to legend, Mashish Kapeu is the most powerful spirit, even more powerful than Machi. Kanipini Kasi Kueu, the Caribou Master, provider of Caribou. And instead of this, now we have Canada. So Mr. Metin isn't the superhero we deserve, but the superhero we actually need. And you should check out his website, which looks like this.
Can you guess where this comes from? MrMethane.com. MrMethane. MrMethane.com.
The world's windiest website.
He has a YouTube channel which is, for some reason beyond my understanding, is less popular than Mr. Beast. You should just check it out, you will not regret it. He was also performing on Britain's Got Talent, and he performed the song by farting. He was farting to the rhythm of the song, which is more impressive than funny, but it's actually funny. And you also have to appreciate the practice and just sheer skill behind his performance. He also sells DVDs in 2024 and farts in a jar, which is what I will be spending my unemployment benefits on. I don't know how I got here, but this is life. The other notable superhero is Fartman, with a P and an H. He has an even better superhero outfit than Mr. Methane. He has his own comic book series, which is rivaling Marvel in quality. I mean, it clearly has overtaken Marvel because it isn't hard. We also see a lot of the broccoli people posing on Instagram or TikTok trying to be fitness influencer, but let's face it, this is the ideal male body. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. There is also a farting world championship with its own rulebook, and also I realized that I have a job interview in like 10 minutes, so stay hydrated and thank you for watching.